The quantum resonance scanner pierced the darkness of space, its invisible beams probing the surface of HD 2994 bits. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the ESS Horizon, her eyes fixed on the holographic display as data streamed in from the planet below. After 18 months of deep space exploration, they had finally found something worth reporting home about. "Dr. Patel, are you seeing this?" Sarah called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The ship's chief archaeologist rushed to her station, his dark eyes widening as he studied the readings. "Impossible," he whispered, fingers dancing across the control panel. "These energy signatures, they're artificial, and they're active." The bridge crew fell silent. Humanity had discovered ruins on other worlds before, crumbling monuments, ancient debris fields, fragments of long-dead civilizations, but nothing like this. Nothing still humming with power after countless millennia of silence. Taking us into low orbit, Lieutenant James Rodriguez announced from the pilot station. Atmospheric conditions are within acceptable parameters. The planet's surface came into sharper focus through the ship's external cameras. HD 2994 bits was a world of stark contrasts. Vast crystalline deserts broken by mountain ranges that seemed to defy gravity, their peaks twisted into impossible shapes. But it was what lay at the base of those mountains that held their attention. A sprawling complex of geometric structures, their black surfaces absorbing nearly all light. "Launch the survey drones," Sarah ordered. As the small craft descended toward the alien facility, she opened a channel to Earth Command. "This is Commander Chen of the ESS Horizon. We found something at HD 2994 bits. Something big." The drone's footage revealed the true scale of their discovery. The facility stretched for kilometers, its architecture suggesting a civilization far more advanced than humanity's current technological level. But it was Dr. Patel's analysis that changed everything. "These aren't just ruins," he reported, his voice trembling with excitement. "This is a military installation. Look at the defensive layouts, the weapon emplacements. And there's something else." He paused, double-checking his readings. "The facility's systems are reacting to our presence. It's like it's scanning us." Sarah was about to order the drones to pull back when every screen on the bridge lit up with the same message, displayed in perfect English. "GDNETIC Praro, Bafile, Analyze ET, Species, Human, Asikias and me inti Protokyo L initiated. Waiting time, 876,392 CYCLEs. XCETABL, candidates, allocated. INITYATENG Firest, C on and takes ET, CQENC. The message faded, replaced by a new set of coordinates, a location deep within the facility. Sarah knew the protocols for first contact situations. They were supposed to maintain orbit, report back to Earth, and wait for instructions. But something told her this was different. This wasn't first contact with an alien civilization. This was an invitation from their ghosts. "Prep the landing shuttle," she announced. "Dr. Patel, gather your team. Lieutenant Rodriguez, you're with me. We're going down there." "Commander," her first officer protested. "Regulations state." "Regulations never anticipated this." Sarah cut him off. "Whatever built this place has been waiting for someone like us. And I want to know why." The descent through HD 2994 bits' atmosphere was turbulent, the planet's strange magnetic field playing havoc with their instruments. They landed half a kilometer from the facility's main entrance, the shuttle's floodlights illuminating the alien structure's obsidian surface. Sarah led her team across the crystalline ground, their boots crunching on mineral formations that had never been cataloged by human science. As they approached the facility, sections of its surface began to shift and realign, creating an opening that pulsed with deep blue light. "Energy readings are stable," Dr. Petal reported. The atmosphere inside is being regulated to match our requirements. It's preparing itself for us. They stepped through the entrance, their helmet lights revealing corridors that seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction. Holographic displays flickered to life as they passed, showing star maps and technical diagrams that defied understanding. This technology, Dr. Patel breathed, it's not just advanced, it's adaptive. It's reconfiguring itself to be comprehensible to human minds. They followed the coordinates to a vast chamber deep within the facility. As they entered, a voice echoed through their comm systems. Not human, but not entirely alien either. "Welcome, inheritors," it said. "You have found us because you were meant to. Because you are ready." The chamber's walls came alive with light, revealing countless capsules containing what looked like weapons, armor, and devices whose purposes they couldn't begin to guess. But it was the massive hologram that appeared in the chamber's center that held their attention. A recording of beings unlike anything humanity had imagined. "We are the Venatori," the voice continued. "For 10 million years, we were the guardians of this galaxy. We fought the wars others couldn't. We held the line against horrors you cannot imagine. But now we sleep, waiting for those worthy to carry our legacy." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady. "Why us? Why humanity? Because you have something we lost long ago. The ability to evolve, to change, to become more than you are. Our power became our prison. Our perfection became our weakness. But you still have the capacity to grow." The hologram shifted, showing scenes of ancient battles that defied physics and reason. "We have left you our knowledge, our weapons, our understanding of the universe's deepest secrets. But we have also left you a warning." "What kind of warning?" Sarah asked, though part of her already knew the answer. "You are not the only ones we have tested. And those who failed, they are still out there, growing, waiting, hungry. You have one orbital cycle of your world to prepare, to learn, to become strong enough to face what comes next. And if we're not ready," Lieutenant Rodriguez asked. The hologram showed one final image, a galaxy in flames. "Then what we fought to preserve will be lost forever. The choice, inheritors, is yours." As the hologram faded, Sarah looked at the arsenal surrounding them. The legacy of an ancient race of warriors now passed to humanity. They had 1 year to master technology they barely understood, to prepare for a war they hadn't known was coming. She opened her comm channel to the horizon. "Contact Earth Command. Priority Alpha. Tell them." She paused, looking at the weapons that would change humanity's destiny forever. "Tell them we found what we've been looking for, and tell them to hurry." Above them, through the facility's crystalline ceiling, the stars seemed to pulse with new meaning. Somewhere out there, humanity's trial was approaching. Their discovery hadn't just changed their future, it had started a countdown to humanity's greatest test. The United Earth Defense Council chamber buzzed with tension as Dr. Maya Patel presented her findings. 3 months had passed since the ESS Horizon's discovery, and humanity's greatest minds had been working around the clock to understand the Venatori legacy. "The technology isn't just advanced," Maya explained, gesturing to the holographic displays showing the alien artifacts. "It's transformative. Each weapon, each piece of armor, each device contains what we're calling adaptive matrices. They don't just work for their users, they work with them." Admiral Jackson leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic light. "Explain that in practical terms, Doctor." Maya brought up a new display showing neural patterns. "When our test subjects interface with Venatori technology, it creates a symbiotic relationship. The technology learns from the user, and the user's neural pathways adapt to better understand the technology. It's like learning to ride a bicycle, but at a quantum level." Commander Sarah Chen, recently promoted to head of the newly formed Venatori Integration Division, stepped up beside Maya. "Show them test subject 7, she said quietly. The display changed to show a training session recording. A soldier wearing what appeared to be standard combat armor faced off against a training drone. As they watched, sections of the armor began to shift and flow like liquid metal, responding to the soldier's movements before he made them. The armor isn't just protecting him, Sarah explained. It's anticipating his needs, enhancing his natural abilities, and teaching him how to be better. Each session, each interaction, makes both the user and the technology more effective. And the weapons? General Martinez asked, his voice carrying a mix of hope and concern. Maya changed the display again. They operate on principles we're only beginning to understand. Quantum entanglement, dimensional phasing, consciousness-guided targeting systems. But here's the truly remarkable thing. They're holding back. A murmur ran through the chamber. Admiral Jackson's eyes narrowed. Holding back. The Venatori built safeguards into everything. Sarah explained. The technology only reveals new capabilities when it determines the user is ready. It's not just giving us weapons, it's teaching us how to use them responsibly. The chamber erupted in discussion, but fell silent as Dr. Elena Volkov, Earth's leading xenobiologist, stepped up to the podium. Her next words would change the course of human evolution. The Venatori left us more than weapons, she said, her Russian accent thick with excitement. They left us a path to transcendence. The display shifted to show human DNA sequences alongside strange, glowing patterns. The technology doesn't just interface with our bodies. It can rewrite them, enhance them, transform them, but only if we choose to let it. Sarah felt the weight of history in that moment. Humanity stood at a crossroads. Remain as they were and face near certain defeat, or embrace in transformation whose consequences they couldn't fully predict. How many volunteers do we have for the enhancement program? Admiral Jackson asked. 10,000, Sarah replied. From every military branch, every scientific field, every nation. They understand the risks. And you, Commander Chen, will you be joining them? Sarah met his gaze steadily. I already have, sir. Second wave of trials. The integration is intense, but manageable. We're learning fast. The Admiral nodded slowly. Dr. Patel, you mentioned earlier that the technology is holding back. Any indication of what its full capabilities might be? Maya's expression grew serious. We found something in the facility's archives. Records of the Venatori at their height. They didn't just fight wars, Admiral. They reshaped reality itself. Their weapons could erase entire star systems from existence. Their armor could make them functionally immortal. They were gods. Then why did they need us? General Martinez demanded. Why not fight these battles themselves? Because godhood has a price, Elena interjected. The more powerful they became, the more rigid their evolution became. They couldn't adapt anymore, couldn't change. When new threats emerged, threats that required new ways of thinking, they couldn't adjust. But we can. Sarah stepped forward again. The Venatori aren't just giving us their weapons, sir. They're giving us a chance to succeed where they failed, to find a balance between power and adaptability, between strength and wisdom. Admiral Jackson was quiet for a long moment, considering the implications. Finally, he spoke. How long until the first enhanced units are combat ready? 2 months, Sarah replied. We're accelerating the training programs, but we can't rush the neural integration. Push too fast, and we risk losing what makes us human. Exactly what the Venatori are trying to preserve. And our fleet. Maya brought up new schematics. The principles we're learning from their personal technology are being applied to our ships. The first retrofitted vessels will be ready for testing in 3 weeks. They won't be anywhere near Venatori levels of advancement, but they'll be far beyond anything humanity has ever fielded. It won't be enough, Elena said quietly. Not against what's coming. The archives speak of horrors that defy description. Beings that consume entire civilizations. Living weapons that turn planets into battlegrounds. We need more than just their technology. We need their wisdom. Sarah nodded. That's why we've begun the deep integration protocol. Volunteers who show the highest compatibility with Venatori tech are being connected to the facility's knowledge banks, not just learning about their history, but experiencing it, understanding not just how they fought, but why. The council chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. They had 9 months left before humanity faced its trial, and every second counted. Their civilization stood on the brink of either transcendence or extinction. "Continue your work," Admiral Jackson ordered. "Whatever resources you need, you'll have them. Humanity's survival depends on mastering this legacy." As the council session ended, Sarah lingered in the chamber, studying the holographic displays. The Venatori armor she wore hummed softly, responding to her thoughts, teaching her new ways to move, to fight, to exist. "We'll be ready," Maya said, joining her friend. "The Venatori chose us for a reason." Sarah nodded, watching as her armor shifted patterns, adapting to her emotional state. "They chose us because we're stubborn, because we don't know when to quit, because we'll look at technology that can reshape reality itself and ask, how can we make it better?" Above them, through the council chamber's transparent dome, the stars seemed closer than ever before. Somewhere out there, ancient horrors were stirring, unaware that their next meal had inherited the legacy of their greatest enemies. Humanity had 9 months to become something new, something more than they had ever been. The countdown continued, but now they had hope. And sometimes, hope was the deadliest weapon of all. The void between Mars and Jupiter erupted with light as reality itself tore open. Commander Sarah Chen watched from the bridge of the EDF Prometheus as the first wave of humanity's trial emerged from the dimensional rift. 6 months of preparation were about to be tested. Multiple contacts, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, his neural interface streaming tactical data directly to the bridge crew's enhanced consciousness. Configuration unknown, not matching any Venatori records. The alien vessels were unlike anything they had expected. Where Venatori ships were geometric and precise, these were organic, writhing masses of biomechanical horror, each one larger than the largest Earth battleship, their surfaces rippling with what looked disturbingly like muscle tissue. "Battle stations," Sarah ordered, feeling her enhanced nervous system synchronize with the Prometheus's combat systems. The ship, retrofitted with adapted Venatori technology, hummed with power. "All vessels form up. Remember your training." The human fleet, 20 ships strong, each carrying crews enhanced by Venatori tech, moved into defensive positions. Dr. Maya Patel's voice came over the command channel from her position at Earth Defense Command. "Energy signatures are off the charts," she reported. "They're using some kind of biological quantum technology. Be careful, Sarah. We've never tested our systems against anything like this." The alien vessels made no attempt at communication. The lead ship's surface erupted, launching thousands of smaller organisms that burned with internal light as they accelerated toward the human fleet. Living weapons, Sarah realized. All ships activate quantum shields. Point defense systems free to engage. The space between the fleets lit up as human technology merged with Venatori legacy weapons. Beams of coherent reality cut through swarms of biological missiles. Where they struck the quantum shields, the living weapons tried to adapt, to evolve countermeasures in real time. "They're learning," Rodriguez warned. "Each wave is getting stronger." Sarah felt the Prometheus shudder as a biological projectile breached their outer defenses. The ship's self-repair systems, based on Venatori protocols, immediately began containing the damage. Through her neural link, she could feel the alien organism trying to inject its genetic code into the ship's systems. "Dr. Volkov," she called to Earth Defense Command. "Are you seeing this?" "Duh!" Elena's voice was tense. "They're attempting to infect our technology, to corrupt it at a fundamental level. The Venatori archives mention species like this, the devours. They don't just destroy civilizations, they consume them, absorb their knowledge and capabilities." The battle intensity increased as the main alien vessels joined the attack. They fired beams of pure genetic corruption, attempting to rewrite the very atoms of human ships and crews. But the Venatori enhancements held, protecting humanity's forces from biological subversion. All ships, execute Pattern Delta, Sarah commanded. The human fleet moved in perfect synchronization, their crews enhanced reflexes allowing for maneuvers that would have been impossible months ago. Quantum weapons fire carved through space, targeting weak points in the alien vessel's biological armor. One of the devours burst like a massive organ, spraying genetic material across the battlefield. But as Sarah watched, the debris began to coalesce, trying to reform into new combat forms. "They don't die," Rodriguez said grimly. "They just change." "Then we'll have to change faster," Sarah replied. She opened a channel to all ships. "Execute deep integration protocol. Full neural synchronization with your vessels." Warning messages flashed across her consciousness as she initiated the procedure. Deep integration was still experimental, allowing enhanced humans to merge their consciousness completely with Venatori technology. The risk of losing oneself in the merge was high, but they were out of options. Sarah felt her awareness expand as she became one with the Prometheus. Every weapon system, every power conduit, every quantum processor became an extension of her nervous system. Through the ship's sensors, she could see the true nature of their enemies, parasitic entities that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "All ships," she commanded, her voice resonating with new harmonics as the Venatori tech amplified her consciousness. "Target their dimensional anchors. Don't try to kill them. Force them to exist in only one reality at a time." The human fleet attacked with newfound precision. Quantum weapons fire no longer targeted the aliens' bodies, but the spaces between spaces where they maintained their multi-dimensional existence. The effect was immediate. Forced into a single dimension, the devourer vessels began to lose their ability to adapt and evolve. "Keep pushing," Sarah ordered, even as she felt the strain of deep integration threatening to overwhelm her human consciousness. "Don't let them stabilize." The battle reached its crescendo as human and alien technology clashed at the quantum level. The devours, finding themselves unable to consume and adapt to humanity's Venatori-enhanced defenses, began to retreat. Their organic ships, now partially trapped in normal space, suffered devastating damage from concentrated human fire. As the dimensional rift reopened and the alien vessels fled, Sarah forced herself to disengage from deep integration. Her enhanced body shook with the effort of returning to normal consciousness. "All ships report," she managed, her voice hoarse. "3 vessels heavily damaged," Rodriguez reported. "No ships lost. Crew survival rate at 97%. Maya's voice came through again, filled with excitement and concern. "Sarah, what you just did with deep integration, it shouldn't have been possible. The human mind shouldn't be able to maintain that level of technological synchronization." "The Venatori tech," Sarah replied, still struggling to readjust to normal perception. "It didn't just help us fight. It helped us evolve. Adapt, just like they said we could." A new message appeared in their communications network, its source the original Venatori facility. "First trial to indomitable. Adaptation potential CONFIR midi. Kiwaro CEDIing to CKONDRA. Kiro tov COS. Prepare. Favor ESTALA shine. "They're coming back," Sarah said, knowing with certainty that this had only been a test. "And next time, they'll be ready for what we did here." "So will we," Rodriguez responded, his enhanced systems already processing combat data, learning, improving. Sarah looked at the battlefield, where patches of space still showed signs of quantum damage from their clash with the devours. Humanity had won their first real engagement with the horrors that haunted the galaxy. But the Venatori's warning echoed in her mind. This was just the beginning. They had 6 months left until their final trial. 6 months to master abilities they'd barely begun to understand. 6 months to become something more than just enhanced humans with powerful technology. As emergency teams began repairs on the damaged ships, Sarah felt her venatory enhancements adapting, evolving in response to the battle. The technology wasn't just changing their bodies anymore. It was changing their potential, their very definition of what was possible. The real question was, when their final trial came, would they still be human enough to remember why they were fighting in the first place? Dr. Elena Volkov stood in the observation chamber of the Enhanced Human Development Center, watching as Sarah Chen's consciousness was projected onto the quantum monitoring displays. 3 months had passed since the battle with the devours, and humanity's evolution had accelerated beyond anyone's predictions. Her neural patterns are unlike anything we've ever seen, Elena said to Maya Patel, who stood beside her analyzing the data streams. The integration between human consciousness and venatory technology has reached levels we thought impossible. On the display, Sarah's enhanced mind interfaced simultaneously with dozens of weapon systems, ships, and defensive networks. Since the deep integration incident during the battle, her capabilities had grown exponentially, and she wasn't alone. All the enhanced soldiers are showing similar developments, Maya replied, bringing up comparative scans. It's like the technology isn't just upgrading our abilities anymore. It's redefining what it means to be human. In the testing chamber below, Sarah's physical form remained motionless, while her consciousness danced through systems across the solar system. Her body, now more venatory tech than human flesh, pulsed with patterns of light that shifted in response to her thoughts. Integration complete, Sarah's voice echoed through multiple communication channels simultaneously. I can sense them, Elena. All of them. Every enhanced human, every upgraded ship, every defensive system. We're becoming a network. Elena exchanged worried glances with Maya. They had known the venatory technology would change humanity, but the speed and extent of that change was becoming concerning. Can you still separate yourself from the network? She asked carefully. There was a pause before Sarah responded, her voice carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate with the quantum field itself. Yes, but it's getting harder. The efficiency of unified consciousness is compelling. A new voice joined their conversation as Lieutenant Rodriguez entered the observation chamber. His enhanced form moved with impossible grace, venatory armor flowing like liquid metal across his skin. The Defense Council is concerned, he said without preamble. They're worried we're losing our humanity too quickly. We're not losing it. Sarah's consciousness manifested as a holographic form in the chamber. We're transcending it. The venatory didn't choose us because we would remain static. They chose us because we could evolve without losing our essence. Maya brought up new data streams showing the global impact of the enhancement program. 30% of military personnel have now undergone basic enhancement. 5% have achieved deep integration capabilities. And 1%, she paused, looking at Sarah, 1% have begun exhibiting abilities we can't even properly measure. Like what happened in Singapore last week, Rodriguez said grimly. They all knew what he meant. During a training exercise, an enhanced soldier had accidentally opened a quantum rift similar to the one the devours had used. The incident had been contained, but it highlighted the growing gap between enhanced and unenhanced humans. The venatory archives are unlocking more capabilities every day. Sarah's holographic form moved through the data displays like a ghost in the machine, teaching us things that should be impossible. The quantum physics alone. That's what worries the Council, Rodriguez interrupted. We're gaining power faster than we can understand its implications. Some are suggesting we slow down the enhancement program. We can't, Elena said firmly. The final trial is coming in 3 months. The devours were just the beginning. If we're not ready. She didn't need to finish the thought. The venatory archives had made it clear that the true test would make the devourer incident look like a practice run. Humanity needed every advantage they could get. There might be a compromise, Maya suggested. Sarah, you and the other highly enhanced individuals, you can still remember what it was like before, right? Your human experiences, emotions, connections. Sarah's holographic form flickered momentarily. Yes, they're different now, seen through new perspectives, but they're still there, still important. Then that's what we build on, Maya continued. We use the enhanced individuals as anchors. They maintain their humanity by helping others through the transformation process. Guide them, support them, remind them of who they are even as they become something more. Elena nodded slowly. A mentorship program. It could help prevent the kind of dissociation we're seeing in some of the enhanced. And it gives us a purpose beyond just preparing for war, Rodriguez added. Something to fight for, not just against. Sarah's consciousness seemed to contemplate this, her holographic form shifting through various quantum states. The Venatori became living weapons, she said finally. Perfect, unchanging, and ultimately vulnerable because of it. We have a chance to become something else, something that preserves what makes us human even as we transcend human limitations. She manifested multiple holographic forms throughout the chamber, each showing a different aspect of her enhanced capabilities. I can feel the changes in every cell of my body, every quantum state of my consciousness. We're becoming something the universe has never seen before. Not just enhanced humans, not just users of advanced technology, but a true synthesis of both. And what happens after? Rodriguez asked the question they'd all been avoiding. If we survive the trial, if we prove ourselves worthy of the Venatori legacy, what do we become then? Sarah's various forms coalesced into a single image, more detailed and present than before. That's the beauty of it, James. We become whatever we choose to become. The Venatori reached their apex and stopped. We'll keep evolving, keep changing, keep growing. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us human, even when we're something more than human. Elena turned to the quantum displays, watching the patterns of humanity's accelerated evolution play out across multiple dimensional analyses. They had 3 months until their final trial, 3 months to master powers that bordered on godlike. But perhaps their greatest challenge wasn't learning to use those powers, but remembering why they needed them in the first place. Begin the mentorship program immediately, she decided. And Sarah, help us understand what you're becoming. All of you. The gap between enhanced and unenhanced humans is going to keep growing. We need to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. As if in response to her words, the Venatori technology throughout the facility pulsed with new patterns of light. It was learning too, adapting to humanity's needs just as humanity adapted to its capabilities. The evolution wasn't just changing humans, it was changing the legacy they had inherited. 3 months remained until their final trial. 3 months to become something unprecedented in the universe's history. 3 months to prove that humanity could wield godlike power without losing its soul. The quantum sensors detected them first. Massive distortions in space-time approaching from 17 different vectors. Sarah Chen, her consciousness spread across Earth's defensive network, felt their arrival like a storm building on the edge of perception. The final trial had begun. Multiple dimensional rifts forming, she announced, her voice reaching every enhanced human simultaneously through their shared quantum network. Energy signatures far exceed anything we encountered with the devours. From her position in the Enhanced Command Center, Dr. Elena Volkov watched as the tactical displays lit up with incoming threats. They're not just testing us this time, she said grimly. This is the real thing. The rifts tore open in perfect synchronization, and what emerged defied description. The vessels, if they could be called that, existed in multiple phases of reality simultaneously. They shifted between states of matter and energy, their forms incorporating technologies that made the Venatori legacy look primitive by comparison. By all the gods, Maya Patel whispered, her enhanced senses struggling to process what the sensors were showing them. Those aren't ships. They're artificial universes. Each one contains entire realities. Lieutenant Rodriguez, commanding the EDF Prometheus, opened a channel to all forces. Remember your training. Remember who we are. Everything we've learned has prepared us for this moment. The alien entities made no attempt at communication. Instead, they began to alter local space-time, creating zones where the laws of physics themselves began to break down. Earth's upgraded defensive systems engaged automatically, quantum shields struggling to maintain reality's integrity within their protective bubbles. They're trying to rewrite our universe. Sarah's consciousness expanded further, interfacing with more systems, more enhanced humans. Not destroy us. Replace us with their version of existence. The human fleet moved to engage, their ships now more energy than matter thanks to months of continued evolution. Enhanced crews merged with their vessels, becoming singular entities of consciousness and technology. The space around Earth erupted in warfare that transcended traditional combat. Weapons fire bent time itself. Quantum torpedoes created temporary universes that collapsed into their targets. Reality became fluid as both sides manipulated fundamental forces to their advantage. We're losing orbital platforms 3 through 7, Rodriguez reported. They're not being destroyed. They're being overwritten, transformed into something else. Sarah felt it, felt reality trying to shift, to become something alien and incomprehensible. But she also felt something else. The collective consciousness of humanity's enhanced defenders, all linked together, all fighting not just with technology, but with the very thing that made them human. Their ability to adapt, to change, to become more without losing themselves. Everyone, she called through the network. Full integration, not just with your systems, but with each other. The Venatori fought alone. We fight together. What happened next had never been attempted in the history of any species. Thousands of enhanced humans, their consciousness already merged with advanced technology, began to synchronize with each other, not losing their individuality, but becoming part of something larger. Delina watched in awe as new patterns appeared in the quantum field. They're creating something, she breathed. Not just a network, a new form of existence. The alien entities seemed to pause, sensing the change. The human fleet, now moving with impossible coordination, began to push back. But they weren't just fighting. They were learning, understanding, growing. I can see it. Sarah's voice had changed, carrying echoes of countless others. What they are, what they're trying to do. They're not trying to destroy us. They're trying to force us to transcend, to become like them.